This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by light heavyweight and European title challenger in just about 2 months, no, just under 2 months' time now. Shakan Pitters. Shakan,
Thanks.
it's good to see you. You've now got a fight date November 9th in Paris. How is everything?
Yeah, good man. Can't complain. All's well. Training's going well. Everything's going well. Good to finally get things over the wall. And now down a fight date, an actual date as well.
How frustrating has this period been of obviously getting ordered to fight for the EBU light heavyweight title, but it just seemed like at times we didn't know when that fight was going to come. You've been saying that it's been a bit of a mess about and
Mm.
things out of your control. How
Yeah.
frustrating has that all been?
Yeah, it was frustrating a lot, but this is boxing. This is the game we're in and the sport we're in. It like the business side ain't always pretty, you know what I mean? So sometimes as a fighter, you only got to take your initiative and do what you can control in. And me controlling myself was always being in the gym. So that's one thing I haven't stopped doing. I've been in the gym, working on my craft and working on things. So it's been a bit frustrating, obviously, seeing other fighters getting out and doing things and being busy. But we're here now. You know, I can't really focus on the ifs and the whatnots. You know, I've got the fight date nailed in. I've got November 9th here now, so I'm looking forward to having a new belt.
Was there ever any period during this period of waiting to get the European title shot over the line? Was there any point where you were thinking, let's just leave this title and look for other fights and look to push on in other areas of like down other routes instead?
I mean, before that, we were always pushing for fights anyway. I want to be in, you know, meaningful, valuable fights what are going to move me only in the direction of upwards, you know, and move me forward in my career, nothing to go back on. But it's any, I feel like when this got nailed down, of course, me and my team and myself, we ideally this was the route I wanted. You know, I wanted the European after winning obviously the other titles. This is next in line of a title for me to see. You know, to become call myself a European champion and be a European champion. So that's next in line for me. But yeah, again, this is just a stepping stone for myself to be moving in the direction I need to move in.
And what do you know about your opponent, Daniel Blender dos Santos? What do you know about him so far?
Yeah, he's a good fighter. Decent record, good fighter, winning record. He's won a few titles himself, and I'm sure if his attitude's like mine, he's gonna want to obviously keep his belt. Where I'm there to wanted to take it and take it away from him. So I'm prepared myself good, very good in camp, and I've had good camp, and I just look forward to doing the job and getting the job done in good fashion. Because they ain't trying to give me nothing over Paris. So I know I've got to come there and really win dominantly.
You've already just kind of steered on to the next point I was going to make, being away in Paris for this one. Is there
Mm.
any doubts about it? Have you thought about, obviously, we know what judges can be like in boxing at times. Are those types of thoughts crossed your mind?
No, I ain't get no doubts. I ain't got no doubts. I mean, yeah, judges have their own ways, and it's like even in the Dan Aziz fight, it was ridiculous the scores, but it's what it is, isn't it? With the judges out there, it's me and him in the ring, so it's my job to then, if that's the case, then I got to take it out of their hands, you know what I mean, or think of different ways or whatever to execute my win in a dominant fashion because that's how I have to win. Really, I can't chance anything for that. Just leaving it there, and if I want to push on in my career, being where I am and everything now and how boxing tries to write people up with their ages where I still feel fresh. But I've got to be winning these kind of fights in order to then push on to the bigger fights. It's really boxing is that sport where you have one shot at it. You do have one shot at it and can't fuck it up. You know what I mean? You just gotta go over there and winning mindset. I've been training throughout this camp with a big winning mindset. I visualize the win. I visualize everything on getting my hand raised, and I push myself very much in this camp. So I wouldn't. It doesn't matter where I was to go for this fight. could have been in Mexico, anywhere. As long as there's a ring, it's me and my opponent. There's no excuses. There's me and my opponent. Judges and all that ain't even crossing my head. I know they ain't gonna give me nothing in my head, but at the end of the day, the judges can't throw punches and block punches for him or anything. And for both of us, I've got to make the action work, and that's what I plan to do.
If anything, does it give you a bit of excitement having a bit of an away day, going over to Paris? No one's going to be singing your praises apart from you and the team. Does that give you a bit more excitement, almost playing the villain in this one?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've never cared about being the villain or the nice guy, honestly. Obviously, I'm just me, and if the way I am is likable to a lot of people, then I'm happy with that. If it's not, then so be it. Not everyone's gonna like you in this life anyway. But for me, it's good for my friends, sorry, and my fans. Like, they are all happy to obviously come over to Paris and things, but that's for them to be happy. Me, it's business, man. Um, I've traveled anywhere. I've trained numerous of places abroad, Miami, Dubai, all these places, to name a few, loads of places in Europe. And for me, when I'm going these places, it's always with a business mindset. I've traveled myself anyway. So I wanted a holiday. I would have made it a holiday. So it's just business. I go over there, I handle my business, and then I'm back here, back safely with my family, man. This is the end goal for me of winning that, you know what I mean? Coming back, bringing the belt back, win, and push on in my career.
Fair enough. And then just finally on this bit about yourself here, what happens on November 9th when you get in the ring?
Um, it's going to be a Shakan Pitters win, definitely, by all means. I feel stronger, I feel fitter, I feel amazing, and I can't wait to show that on November the 9th.
Well, I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone when we say we're excited to see you get this shot. We know how long it's been waiting. Just steering away, we're in a very big week for British boxing. We see Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois at Wembley Stadium this weekend. A stacked undercard, a fight that I really want to get your thoughts on, though. Joshua Buatsi versus Willy Hutchinson. Two men who are is a weird type of fight if you were to look at this about a year ago. But Willie Hutchinson with a big win last time out over Craig Richards finds himself against Joshua Buatsi, WBO interim world title. When you look at the two styles, who do you feel has the upper hand in this fight?
It's hard to say because, like, obviously Willie is I know a lot of people judge him on the Lennox Clark loss, but he's also had a good stellar amateur career doing his thing, as well as Josh. Obviously, he's won a bronze. They don't hand out these medals. But speaking from the pro ranks, obviously Josh has been kind of trialed a bit. He's been in some fights where he's had to grind through it. And I think when it does get to the trenches kind of stuff, he's proven it. Um, but they're all both seemingly confident. They both got two arms, two hands, so it's who's landing. You know what I mean? Who I know most of the public are probably going with Buatsi on the win. But it's one of those fights. Whoever turns up on the day. There's loads of people who are writing out for the fighters, and Buatsi can't sleep on him. Willy Hutchinson can't sleep on Buatsi. So whoever wins doesn't bother me, but I hope they're putting a good fight, man.
What do you think is the biggest threat that those two pose to each other?
They both got two hands. They both got throw hands. That's about it. Like, I don't. Obviously, for me, like, Willie boxed very well against Craig. I think he did box really well. Obviously, Craig wasn't up for the races, weren't really throwing his punches, but Willie boxed well. He let his hands go and landed some good combinations and so on. But Wax has obviously always got that power. And like I said, I've always liked that when it does get in the trenches or something, like he'll let his hands go, let it go. But they both got two hands, man. I don't know who will win. I ain't got a horse in the race, as I say. It's on them to make the magic happen.
So if I was to ask you now for a prediction, would it be one of those where you just sit in the middle, or is there someone that just edges it for you?
For me, I'd say Buatsi. Just judging on the last couple of performances, for him. I think he had a good win against Dan, and Dan's very durable. But Willy's had some good wins, some good fights as well. But his last telling win was really his most telling win is obviously probably Craig Richards. And obviously Buatsi has been in there with a few other people and that. I wouldn't judge Willy on the loss or anything. Obviously it's happened. Can't act like it's not happened, but people do tend to judge people on losses, and people could change from losses, you know what I'm saying? So but judging on the fights and what I've seen, I would edge more with Buatsi. But again, I ain't got no horse in the race, it don't bother me. I hope this both put on a good fight.
Fair enough. And then I just want to get your thoughts on the main event of the evening: Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, a fight
Mm.
that people are struggling to, they're struggling to split them apart at times. When it was first announced, I was seeing so many people say Anthony Joshua by whatever way he wants. But as it got closer,
Mm.
we've seen a lot more people start to back Daniel Dubois. But in your eyes, in your
Mm.
mind, how do you see that going?
Um, the last couple performances from Daniel Dubois have been good, convincing wins, man. I think like even when he fought Usyk, I know like in the end he got caught with Usyk and that, but he was given a good goal. I think obviously Joshua's always got the best resume right now. If in fact in like boxing in UK boxing anyway, definitely he's got a great resume and he's strong, he's explosive, looking like he's coming back with that spite again. So I would lean more with Joshua on this one, but again, Daniel Dubois is raw, he's young, he's got that power. I think experience would probably tell its toll in it though. I think obviously the amount of world title opposition Joshua's beat, it's hard not to back him. It's hard not to lean more to that direction because he's been there with things. But again, you've got a raw, still semi-raw coming back from things. I know he's experienced, but he's still semi-raw. He's young. He's coming back from a few losses he's had and whatever. It's all about them, innit? Like if he lands a good punch with Joshua. I mean, Joshua's been hurt many times, but also Daniel Dubois. I know them heavyweights hit harder, but Daniel Dubois has obviously been like knocked down and things a lot more than AJ, I believe. Well, obviously AJ has been down, but you know what I'm saying. But again, it's a very good fight. I'm glad these fights are being put on. Fights that make you have to think, and really, there's a winner in any direction of it. But if I had to pick one, I'd say AJ.
When you look at the card as a whole, would you say this is probably the best card we've ever seen in British boxing history?
Still could be better fights, man. Still could be some competitive fights on there. I'm still on there.
Which
Nah,
fights?
it's a good card. It's a good card. It's a good card. A lot of these fights are happening now, innit? And it just shows obviously money talks in the business side of boxing. Frank and Eddie are best friends for now because the money's coming in. And obviously, I even see that they're probably going to work with other promoters and things, and they're bringing in Golden Boy and so on. So it's good to see these fights being made. It is good cards. I think the Saudi cards, the rider season is only putting on good shows.
When you look at this for your own perspective, do you feel a win on November 9th in Paris, obviously without overlooking it, but obviously you mentioned wanting to push on. Do you feel that pushing on could involve you getting an opportunity on these Riyadh season cards?
It could be, but for me, I'll just take it one step at a time. What's in my touching distance right now is a European title, so I'm not even thinking about anything. I've got as exciting as it is, that's like me now overlooking this and thinking, I could now push on to this and that and these other titles now. I think my 100% focus is obviously on this European title, and after that, then if they was to phone me, it would be an opportunity I wouldn't turn down as long as things are right with it. And there's something there, but it don't seem like he's not doing anything right on them shows. So yeah, it would be something what definitely interests me.
Out of all the fights on the card this weekend, which one do you think is going to be fight of the night? Which one really stands out to you as a proper 50-50?
Mm. You've got a proper 50-50. It's got to be the main event for me. But um, Yeah, it's got to be the main event. I think everyone's more looking for the main event. With them heavyweight fighters, you know what I mean? They're one punch away from anything. So I'm looking forward to see what kind of AJ turns up, what kind of Dan Dubois turns up. And yeah, it's heavyweight boxing, so it's always exciting. Everyone's one punch away.
Which fighter? So I'm gonna throw a little bit of a curveball here. So we've seen obviously Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois pair up with new trainers in recent time, but which one would
Mm.
you say has improved more? Daniel Dubois under Don Charles or Anthony Joshua under Ben Davison?
I'll rate both. I'll definitely rate Ben Davison. I think he's a young, hungry coach. I think Joshua's shown a lot of these abilities, and it's not to deflame Joshua. He's shown a lot of these abilities before, but I feel like Daniel Dubois has grown more into himself as a solid heavyweight. Like AJ probably doesn't get as much credit as he does deserve because we've seen our expectations of boxing fans and everything on that side have been so highly of him in it because we've seen him countlessly knocking people, putting people to sleep, and doing things. But I think coming back from the Joy Joyce loss, for example, like look how there's been a shift in it from Joy Joyce to Daniel Dubois, and I think it'd be wrong not to say that to be more impressed with Daniel Dubois, how he's turned out from the things he's been through and his losses and that, and now, I feel like his last couple of wins are very good wins for him. And he's done very well, very, very well. He's turned things around because I think it's a lot after the Joe Joyce loss, a lot of people would have written him off as they do. And they wouldn't think he'd have a chance with AJ, but now so many are now like, oh yeah, hold on, his game is, it's making them think. So yeah, it's got to be Daniel Dubois. Only on the fact that we've seen AJ done so many things countless times, and his expectations are high as well. But yeah, Daniel Dubois.
Well, Shakan, thank you very much for your time today. It's a pleasure to talk to you. If we don't
No
catch up
worries, man.
again before November 9th, best of luck, and hopefully we can see you bring that European title back to the UK. Cheers.
100%, definitely. Thank you, bro.